Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sales Mastery Mini Workshop. Great. I've got so many people coming to me and say, YP, okay, how can I generate massive sales? And I thought I'll do this little sharing to help all of you, my friends. Right. Now, what's the biggest fear and worry of a business owner? What do you worry most? What is it that keeps you awake at night? And for most business owners, it is the fear and the worry of the tap drying out. What do you mean by that? It means that your source of prospects, your potential new customers starts to get smaller and smaller, and it dwindles down, and then it's still getting gushing. Okay, you're getting drops. Okay, and that's the biggest fear and worry of a business owner: not having enough sales to be able to feed your family, to be able to pay your employees and all the overheads, your supplies, and so on. So that's the biggest fear and worry of a business owner, right? So let's start with why, okay? So, as I share with you the solutions, the starting point is always the why, okay? So I'm going to ask you, what do you want most in your life? So take a couple of seconds, to write down what you want most in your life. And if you're a business owner, why are you in business? You are in business because you want to earn extra income to be able to look after yourself, look after your family, right? So what people want most in their life is to be able to, have a time and financial freedom to be able to look after their family well, to provide the best things in life to your family, right? So I'm sure you agree with this, right? So, the starting point is now that you've identified what you want most in your life, how much money do you need per month? There always needs to be a monetary value so that you can benchmark and you can track whether you're getting towards it or getting away from it, right? So how much would you need per month? Okay, so do a bit of calculations and get this number firmly in your head, right? So now we've done we've done with the initial planning for it. Let's go into the actual sales secret itself. So here are the three secrets. The first one is lead generation. Okay, so if you're thinking about sales, sales is what? Sales is being able to sell something or close something to your prospects. So the very first secret, the very first thing that you gotta be good at is to be able to generate prospects, or what we call lead generation. So if you're a brick and mortar business, you use brochures, you use flyers, you may hire salespeople to go out and bring you your prospects, right? So this is in lead generation. If you're running an online business, you may be using Facebook, you have a website, you do SEO, Facebook ads, and so on. And nowadays people do TikTok, right? So these are all the ways to bring in more leads, right? So once you got your leads coming in, what do you need to do? You need to be able to convert them into customers, from prospect to customers. And this process is what we call sales conversion, right? So if you're a brick and mortar business, imagine if you're running a shoe shop. How do you convert somebody who walks into your door to buying your shoe from a prospect into a customer, right? You've got your sales assistant. Sir, ma'am, please come in. What sort of shoes are you looking for? Work shoes, jogging shoes, dress shoes, right? So this is the job of a sales assistant, to find out the needs of the prospect and then look for products that will satisfy the needs of the customer. Then similarly, on an online business, you're not there to actually address every single person that visits your website or your Facebook page. So it's the copywriting. Your copywriting has got to be so compelling that when people look at it, immediately they know, this is what I need, and this is how I'm going to get it, right? So your copywriting speaks on your behalf. Your copywriting becomes your sales assistant in a online business. So we've covered the second part, which is the sales conversion. Now, how do you increase your sales conversion? So this is very important, okay? You got to be able to find out what is the biggest pain point of your customer. What is hurting them most, okay? And once you know what is hurting them most, you be the one that provide the pain relief. So the more successful you are in identifying the pain point, and the more convincing you are, okay, to share with your prospect that you have got the ability to provide the pain relief to them. They got a headache, you're the one with the Panadol. You're going to be able to have higher sales conversion. Okay, you're going to be able to convert your prospects into customers or clients so much more better when you've got this formula. And what's this formula? This formula I call it PPPL. Okay. You got to find out what is their pain point as a PP, and you are the one that's going to bring them to the promised land where they are going to have the relief from whatever is hurting them most, right? So this is the PPPL formula that I'm sharing with you, right? So the third part is actually what I call product fulfillment or sales fulfillment, right? So if you are a brick and mortar business, the shoe shop, you're actually going to give the right pair of shoes to the customer. You check, ask them to check whether it's the right size, right color. And usually in the shoe shop nowadays, they ask you, look, there's one left, there's one right. Yeah. So to make sure that the product they're delivering is exactly what the client wants. Okay. In an online business, you could be selling a online course, a ebook, or a product or a template, So you deliver, you email it to them, the digital product, right? So we've covered the 3 secrets that you need to know really, really well in order to your sales mastery. You need to have lead generation, the ability to bring in customer. You need to have sales conversion, the ability to convert your leads or your prospect into customers. And the third part is fulfillment. You got to be able to deliver whatever product or service you're selling. Now, why is product fulfillment important? Okay, product fulfillment is important because you are building a community of satisfied customer when you do your product fulfillment well, right? So now, which secret should you be focusing on? Okay, at any point in time, which secret should you be focusing on? So of course, the answer is you got to focus on all 3. But what are the indications? Okay, what are the indications? They'll tell you which of the 3 that you need to focus on. So in terms of lead generation, if you find that you do not have enough prospects to talk to, or your sales team does not have enough prospects to talk to, then lead generation should be your focus. If you're talking to a lot of potential customers, but they are not buying from you, you're not being able to convert them, then of course, sales conversion is the thing that you need to focus on, okay? And then if your customers are not coming back to buy from you, if there are no repeat sales or they're not promoting your products and services to your friend, then you got to realize that, product fulfillment can be improved. In business, of course, we want to have raving fans, we want people queuing up to buy our products and services. And I'm sure you could think of an example, like, for example, the Apple iPhones, people queue up, 1 or 2 days before the release of a new iPhone because, they want to be the first to have that. So you want to look at that type of community and customer satisfaction under product fulfillment, right? So I've covered these 3 areas. So now, what activities do you need to increase sales? So, I've covered 3 areas, and of course, these 3 that activities will be covering these 3 areas, right? So, as a business owner and focusing on the sales department, what are the income producing activities? What would your sales team need to do in order to generate income for you, right? So the first is they got to set new appointments, okay? So this is not a sales presentation. This is just calling up and say, hi, sir, hi, ma'am. Could I have 30 minutes of your time? When is the best time for me to come and see you? Okay, so this is setting appointments to do the sales presentation. Of course, once you set appointment on that day and time, you go there and make the sales presentation. Then after the sales presentation, you're going to ask this question: hi, sir, hi, ma'am. Are you able to make a decision right now? No. When will be the best time for me to come back with you? 48 hours, good. Okay, so is it okay if I come back to you? Let's say today is Wednesday, I come back to you on Friday at 10 a.m. in the morning. Good, fantastic. Let's pen that in, okay? So you make the appointment to follow up with your prospects. And finally, when you follow up with them, you say, right, sir, you say in 48 hours, you make a decision, and I hope it's a positive yes. Great, fantastic. Okay, when can I come over to sign the papers? Okay, so this is closing the sales, right? So these are the 4 key income producing activities for somebody involved in sales. And if you're a business owner, you got to make sure that your sales team focus on all these 4 things. So how do you make sure that all these activities are done? So you need to have a weekly rhythm. So the tools that I teach my clients, okay, is to have a simple, notebook. It doesn't have to be high tech. It's a notebook with Monday to Friday. So I'm basing on just a 5-day work week. Okay, Monday to Friday, you've got these 5 pages for this week, and you've got 5 more pages for the next week. In fact, you've got time. You could actually have this for the whole month. Okay, right? So that you have 3-4 weeks ahead in case your client says, "I'm only free 2 to 3 weeks from now." Okay, right? So what do? First thing, every day, you got to call and you set appointments. So you got a list, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is just a sample of 5 names that you're going to call on Monday to set appointments. So the minute, they tell you when they are ready to meet you, then you transfer their name under the sales presentation. That's the second box, okay? So you set appointments, and then in the sales presentation, if they say, I'm going to meet you on Wednesday, 10 o'clock, then you go to Wednesday's page, and then you write their name, and then you write the time, 10 a.m., right? So this is systematic, so nothing falls through the crack, okay? Right. So set appointment, you do the sales presentation, and after the sales presentation, you, of course, obviously, as a professional salesperson, you want to close the sales immediately, but if you can't, and you need to come back and do a follow-up call, you also schedule that in, okay? So like I said in the example before, when they tell you when you can get back to them, you write that down on the corresponding day and what time you should be calling or what time you should be visiting. Right. So now we've covered 3 areas: the setting appointments, the sales presentation, the follow-up. And the last one is the most important, of course. You got to close the sales. So where you do the paperwork, you sign up, you send a contract and everything. That's under the closing the sales. And this is one simple process I've been using for years. I've been training my clients for years, and this works, okay? Just by using this simple idea, a client of mine, double the amount of business he or she does, okay? So he does, okay? He has got a sales team of 5 people, but they have never been so organized, okay? So, things sometimes depend on luck, depend on the randomness of, activities. Here, everything is fixed. So it's just a matter of 4 weeks. 4 weeks of implementing the system, he doubled his sales. Why? Because now things are organized and he can actually hold his team accountable. Okay, right. So these are the income producing activities, a tool in a rhythm. Okay. So the next question sometimes people ask is how many times per day? Now I'm going to bring this back to the business owner. Okay. So you're wearing the business owner hat now. Okay. How many of each of these do you need to do per day? Right. So first one is you look at the your results. So assuming you want a $50,000 income per month, okay, that is the gross collection for you to be able to run your business, pay all your bills, your overheads, your salaries, and also enough left over for yourself, right? So how much are you going to earn gross income per sale? Let's say 5,000. So how many sales do you need? Okay, so you need 10 sales. Okay, very simple calculation. Right, and you can do this easily yourself. So you need to know how many sales per month that you need. So in this example, there's 10. So what's the next thing you look at? You look at your sales conversion. So here, everything in yellow, you got to fill up. So I'm just using a very conservative 10%. That means, out of every 10% you speak to, only 1% buy from you. And I hope your conversion rate is going to be higher than that. But I'm just going to be conservative. I just use a low 10% conversion rate, right? So, so how many sales presentation do I need? Okay. So per month, okay, I need 10 sales, right? If my conversion rate is only 10%, I need 100 presentations a month. Okay. So that's 100 per month, and I divide it into a 20-day work week per month. So 100 divided by 20 is 5 per day. That means every day I got to do 5 sales presentation. Okay. If I want to earn 50,000 a month, right? So this is the second step. Okay. Finding how many sales presentation you need to do. Then, of course, the third part is how many appointments do you need to set, or how many phone calls do you need to set your appointment. So here I use a 50%, meaning that, every other phone call, if I make 10 phone calls, 5 people will be willing to speak to me, okay? So at 50% conversion rate, I need to make 200 phone calls a month, which is 10 a day, which is something very doable, isn't it? So if you just look at this template here, everything here is very doable, but it's not something you can sit around and you can slack, okay? Right. So if this is for your employee, your sales team, or is for yourself, guess what? When you've got this organized like this, you're actually motivating yourself to take action rather than, be distracted with, social media or doing, I would say, non-productive activity or IRA, income reducing activities. Okay, right. Now, what is the paperclip method? And this is something that I learned in one of my sales training in my younger days. So basically, if I got to make 10 phone calls a day to set appointment, what I do is I put 10 paper clip in a cup, right? So at the start of the morning, this is the first thing I do. I turn over the cup, and so those 10 paper clips are now sitting on my desk. And as I make a one phone call, I take one paper clip and put it back in the cup. So it's actually quite motivating, you know. So initially, you're going to have a pile of 10 clips. Then as you make your calls, the pile gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And finally, you've done your 10 phone calls. And me being me, you know, YP, I'm always, you know, setting a higher benchmark for myself. Usually after I make those 10 phone calls, I make another 2 more phone calls. Okay, right? So instead of doing 10 per day, I do 12. Why? Because I want to have a bit of buffer, right? So it doesn't matter whether, you know, you actually get 50% conversion or whatever. Okay, some days you're going to have higher conversion, some days you're going to have lower conversion. So it doesn't mean that you're going to hit 50% every time you call, right? So this is the average for the month. Fantastic, isn't it? So I've covered with you, you know, the 3 secrets, you know, lead generation, sales conversion, product fulfillment. Okay, I've shared with you, you know, the activity, how to plan the 4 activities, which is to, you know, set appointments. What's the next one? Okay, to make the presentation, then you follow up, and then you close the sales, right? And this is finally, you know, the numbers thing, to know how many of each of these activities you got to do. Okay, so just by using, you know, just by using what I've just shared with you, you are able to turn your biggest fear and worry, meaning that you only have a trickle of prospects. Okay, you're able to turn your biggest fear and worry into your biggest joy and happiness. Imagine how different your life would be. Imagine how different the life of your family would be. Okay, when you are able to have, you know, a gushing, okay, not a trickle, but a gushing of prospects into your funnel every day. This is amazing, isn't it? Right? So, you know, I would really want to help you. I want to turn your biggest fear into your biggest joy and happiness. Okay, I want to help you achieve what you want most. Now, of course, you know, this short, you know, 15 minutes, you know, webinar will not be able to give you all the details. You know, I hope to be able to, you know, share a bit more deeper with you. I could be sharing it with you in, let's say, a bit more in 60 minutes, or in fact, in 1 day. So type learn more in the comments, you know, and and me or my team will engage with you and find out, you know, how much more you want to learn, and we're going to be able to help you achieve what you want most, which is actually a happy life, to have the sense of, you know, time freedom to be able to do what you're passionate about, you know, when your business is running so smoothly, and also importantly, financial freedom, to have no financial pressures on yourself, and to be able to give the best things in life. Okay, yeah, to your customer, the best thing to your family and members, and look after your customer well. Okay, so this is YP Lai, the Work Less and More expert, signing out and wishing everybody, you know, an amazing day and all the best in all your endeavors, and especially in your business. Okay, bye bye.